It is graduation season. An estimated 4 million students expect to graduate this year with ambitions to find the best jobs that pay well and eat something other than ramen. A study from Neighbor.com, dubbed the Airbnb of self-storage, showed nearly half of college students either don't have a savings account or have one but no money in it. To make up the difference, many students, 70% of them, rely on a side job to earn them extra money. So joining me now to talk about financial gift ideas, education, which is really important, financial expert Ashleigh Robinson with First Florida Credit Union. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with this because I saw a headline recently that said graduates expect to make 6 figures after college. But realistically, you are not making that. I mean, I know I made 20 grand in my first job.
Same.
So there's not, you're going to need to think about saving because you're not going to make that money right out of college.
Right, but that's especially hard right now for students because of the inflation and the rising costs of groceries and gas. They just don't have the extra to put away. And so they are doing the side jobs, which are flexible for them. They can fit around their other jobs, but they're just not paying what they need to be making. So they're relying a lot on family to make ends meet in those kind of financial stressful situations, but that even adds pressure. So we have to find other ways to support them, especially as they're transitioning to this next chapter.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't rely on your family if your family's not in a financial place. So you have to do it a lot on your own, which sometimes means taking out loans and everything. So a huge part of talking to your student, well, a college student, adult, education.
Absolutely. And there's definitely some ways to support them through education. We know that about 30% of Americans don't get a credit card until the age of 21. And that is going to be such an important education piece for them as they enter the workforce in the real world. Teaching them to not spend more on that credit card than they can afford, paying the balance off at the end of every month, and keep that utilization low. That'll help them to avoid some of the pitfalls and damages that can go and follow them for years to come. We might also consider getting them set up with a meeting with a financial advisor. So many of us think that financial advisors are just for the wealthy, or we hold off on those until retirement, but college students have the greatest asset that financial advisors love to work with, and that's time. They can help futurecast and set goals for your student and your graduating college students, and then they can know the steps they need to take and how to achieve them.
And I think, a lot of parents get really nervous about, oh, I'm just going to give my child a credit card. There's different versions of credit cards that you can get your student so they can learn how to spend properly.
Absolutely. There's secure cards. There's cards that have lower credit limits that are just kind of almost like training wheel cards, but they are really helpful as we take that next step.
It is, and especially if you're graduating college and you have no credit built up and you're like, hey, I need to buy a car or do this. A lot of people run into that problem. Okay, so talk to me about gifts.
Gifting. Right now, it's a big season of gifting for our graduates. Of course, short-term cash is always king, right? Yeah. We love to get cash, especially as things are getting more expensive, but that can come in the form of gift cards. Things like grocery store cards, gas cards are always great. But if we want to invest in our students' future, we might consider something like a certificate of deposit. We're seeing interest rates go up right now, so a certificate of deposit is a way for you to invest in their future. You can choose a term, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, and that can help them later on. They can use that money for a down payment. Maybe they'll need it at that time, or they can reinvest it. We also can gift stocks or partial stocks in really successful companies. That's going to appreciate with them as they grow, and maybe even be a nest egg, something that they can really utilize in their future.
They may not thank you right away for the stock options, but down the line, they're going to thank you for sure.
Absolutely.
If someone put a little stock in Google for me when I was graduating, I'd be very happy right now. All right, last takeaways for any parents at home.
Ask your student what they really could utilize. It might just be as simple as a student loan payment, something to help them right now to get to that next point so that they can use that payment they would have made and put it into that savings account.
Yeah. Student loans, they will get you every single time.
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ashleigh Robinson, for joining us. All right, Vic.